Hello my friends, Gene here. In this video, we'll be discussing MCP servers. So your model can talk, but it can't do anything. This is where we're going to introduce MCP servers and explain how an MCP server can help your model do more than just communicate with you via text. So your model can talk, but it can't do anything. Here's what I mean by that. Models, LLMs, are great at generating text. You can say, hey, go create this essay for me, and it'll bang that essay out, right? It's not a problem. You can say, hey, model, go and tell me how tall the Empire State Building is. It can do that without a problem. It's really good at communicating text, but it can't actually perform any actions. Like, hey, model, go send me an email. It'll say, I don't know how to send email. I can help you write an email, but I don't have the tools to send an email. Go update a record in a database. I can't. I don't know how to do that. I can tell you what a database is, but I can't actually go and update a database for you. This is where MCP servers come in. They basically give your AI models the ability to actually do things in the real world. So what is MCP? MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. This protocol was created by Anthropic in 2024, and it bridges the gap between AI and action. All right, using an MCP server, you can allow or give the ability to your models to perform actions that they couldn't perform before. Why do we need MCP? Well, models generate answers like I mentioned before. LLMs are excellent understanding and producing text. How tall is the Empire State Building? Right? It can knock that out of the park without a problem at all. But if you said, hey model, can you update this database for me? It'll say, I can't. Now, maybe you'd have to add in some specific custom code, right? Maybe you need to create some code to have it translate your request into SQL and then run the SQL with some code and give you the answer back. Custom code. Without MCP, you'd have to give the model the ability to do these things that it couldn't do before. And this again is where MCP bridges the gap. It connects AI thinking to real world doing. It gives the tools the LLM is lacking, right? It gives it these tools so it can do actions that it couldn't do before. So think of an MCP server as a toolbox, right? These tools can be various things, right? They could be API calls, not a problem. They could be different workflows, different automations. It's a toolbox, and this toolbox has various tools in it that your models can call upon. So if you ask the model to go and update a database, it's going to say, I can't do that on my own. Let me see if I have any tools. And it'll look in the MCP servers that are attached to it and say, hey, look, I've got this update database tool. I can do what you want. The tool's there. The cool part too is the MCP server also has the instructions on how to use the tools. So now, not only can the model get the tool it needs, it'll figure out how to use the tool because the MCP server will explain it. And then next you might say, hey, I found this record. Can you go and delete this one now that you've brought it back? I actually need this record deleted. And it'll go, whoa, I can't delete records. I don't have that tool. So now, as you add tools to the MCP server, your models can perform more actions. Maybe later you want to give your models the ability to delete. Well, just take the tool, plug it in. Next time you ask that same question, your model can say, there's the delete tool, and I see exactly how to use it. We're good to go. Let's check out this timeline. This is pretty interesting. So even ChatGPT needs tools. In 2022, if you asked ChatGPT to generate an image, it would say, I can't. I cannot generate images for you. I do not have the ability. I don't have the tools to do that. And in 2023, if you asked it to go browse the web for you and download some different information, it would say, no, I can't do that. I do not know how to browse the web. Though come 2024, if you ask it to generate that image, it'll say, here's your image. right? And if you ask it to go browse the web, hey, I can go online and actually get some more information for you as well. So OpenAI adds these tools behind the scenes. You don't get to see the toolbox behind the curtain, but it goes and it adds the tools to the toolbox so that ChatGPT can perform actions that it couldn't perform before. Now, this is where MCP comes into play and is kind of cool, because with an MCP server, you're in control. You can plug these different tools into your LLM so they can do things that they couldn't do before, right? Let's just say you have this business that runs a chatbot, right? You can ask Acme Chatbot to do things for you within your organization. And you might say, hey, Acme Chatbot, go and look up this Jira ticket for me. And it's going to say, I can't look up tickets. I don't know how to look up tickets. Well, you can go and look for an MCP server that knows how to speak to Jira, plug that in to your chatbot, set it up appropriately. And now when you ask the chatbot for Jira information, it can do that for you, right? So you can plug these tools in. It's very easy, and you can give your LLMs more functionality. There's also no fine tuning needed. You've probably heard this before. Let's go tune the model. Let's go train the model. Let's go do this stuff to the model. You don't do that with MCP servers. MCP servers, they have the tools, they know how to use the tools. The only thing you have to do with the model is let the model know that the tools exist. That's it. After you do that, you're off to the races, right? You can now ask your question. The model will say, hey, I can query that database for you. Now I see I have the tool. I'm going to get the data for you right now, not on my own, but with the MCP server. And you get this capability instantly. So as you add more tools to the toolbox, again, there's no training. Just let the model know these new tools exist, and it'll be able to use those tools automatically. So let's take a look at an example of this. Claude Desktop is a great way to interact with MCP servers. You can download it, install it, and then plug in MCP servers. So let's run through an example of what this might look like. So you could go into Claude and send a prompt and ask it for, hey, Claude, give me back open bug tickets. Now, without the proper tools, Claude would not know how to do this, but it's going to look in its toolbox and it's going to see that it has this Get Jira Tickets tool available to it. And it's going to communicate with that tool from the MCP server, because remember, the MCP server is basically a toolbox with tools in it. And it's going to say, hey, MCP server, I want to use this tool. What do you want from me? The two are going to talk to each other and figure this all out. Now, once it has the information, well, the MCP server has the information it needs, it's going to go and retrieve the tickets that it needs to, right? It's going to go and retrieve the data. And it's going to return that data back to Claude. And then Claude's going to give it to the end user and say, hey, I found these 12 open bugs. But remember, Claude couldn't do that until the MCP server was attached. So you want some MCP servers to play around with? No problem. There's plenty of MCP servers. These tools are online for you to download to do all kinds of fun things. One site is mcp.so. Go over there. You can download from a massive library of MCP servers. They do all kinds of things, from basic things to advanced things. Go take a look at their catalog. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if you want to play around with MCP servers, there's quite a few already up there for you to download. Just go play around with them and check them out. So stop talking and start doing. At the end of the day, look, your models are smart. Just give them the tools to perform more actions. You'll get those tools via an MCP server. Just go and install an MCP server on your machine. Use Claude Desktop to do some of these examples. Really easy to do. I'll have more videos out real soon on the topic. I'll have an actual real-world example coming out soon, so check that out. But until then, right, this is Gene. I hope you liked the video. And that's it. I'll catch you later on.